Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Edna White, and I'm so glad you're with me today. And today on the Edna White Coaching TV show, we have a special guest. His name is Michael Overlie, and he talks about that something that you all love, men and dogs. So we got to hear about this. So welcome, Michael. How are you today?
Thank you so much. I am ecstatic. I'm just so happy to be here.
I'm glad. I'm so glad. Well, tell us about Michael. Tell us about, introduce yourself, like introducing yourself to the world, and you are on top of it.
Watch out, I'm coming. I'm coming.
Come
Um,
on, we're waiting.
oh man, what do I say? What do I say? I'm a guy who really used to be angry and angry and angry, and now I'm not that angry anymore, and I'm
Mhm.
living a pretty good life. I had to go through some stuff to get there,
Okay.
but yeah, it's fantastic. It's really fantastic, and I want to show other people that they can do something like that too.
Okay. And how did you know you were angry? I want to know that. How did you know?
Hmm.
How did you know that you were angry?
Oh, that's a great question. God, um, I would see glimpses of it, I think, throughout the years. We're talking a lot of years. Um, but one one thing happened about 5 years ago, and my brother
Okay.
passed away. Um, a little premature, right? He was only a few years older than me.
Okay.
But this presented such an opportunity. I had no idea what was coming. And I grieved because he was kind of my hero. And I didn't know what the hell was going on. And I was unleashing stuff that I had buried and kept repressed and smacked down and hidden.
Hmm.
And I realized, wow, I really didn't like who I was showing up as.
Right.
I'm like, oh God, have I been this big a dick like for how long? And I mean, I wasn't always like this ruthless person, but yeah, I'm like, oh, this is not how I want to be anymore.
Hmm.
And so I'm like, I want and need to change. And
Right.
so yeah, luckily I had this amazing dog with me at the time, and he was a huge catalyst for my change. He taught me so much. And I realized that there's so many messages I've been missing out on.
Right.
And I'm like, I gotta go help these guys. We need a lot of help.
Yeah, and as you're talking about that, anger is so associated with men a lot, that they don't, like you said, the word repress, and they have to be strong for either the family or for their mom or for their siblings, um, and they don't get to display all of that. Tell me how that felt as someone in your younger times, like you said, years and years ago. How did that feel to kind of like take that strong persona on?
Um, well, it was a real big deal for me because I'm not a big man, and I had this, short man syndrome. You hear guys talk about it, and I was tough, and I could handle myself. And I trained because I was a small guy, and I didn't want to get my ass kicked all the time. Um, but anger was like that was the acceptable thing that for guys to show, and
Right,
that's our in our culture and society. It's still like okay, whatever. But it's not okay. That's the thing. But it's the only thing we're allowed to show where we don't feel this sense of vulnerability and
right,
shame. So
right,
there's shame around showing anything else. It's
right.
crazy. So for me, I definitely put on the tough guy thing, and I would, it's like I hear if you go to prison, you go and find the biggest guy there, and you smack him first thing you do when you walk in. And that's kind
Um,
of this attitude I had. I would posture and be
yeah,
like, "What are you looking at? This is crazy stuff.
yeah.
I shouldn't be here right now." Yeah, but it was important for me. In
Right,
some way, it made me feel more safe and secure
right,
to act out that way. And again, it was acceptable.
right.
So okay, yeah, you
It
angry's
goes.
okay. I can do angry.
Yeah, yeah. So the S on your chest was safety and security. It wasn't Superman. It was safety
Right.
and
It was
security.
insecure.
Yes. So you did
Yeah.
it to make yourself feel safe. Really,
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
you became
absolutely.
angry and like the persona of an angry man. You weren't angry per se, but you had the imposter syndrome on, and you kind of like made that happen, right?
Oh
So,
yeah.
so
I
nobody
I,
thinks
I
that's
had to be that that alpha, and we know now it's completely wrong. That
yeah,
alpha male, that chest thumping, I can take on anything. Um,
yeah.
and that's a bunch of crap. But that's
Right.
how most of us guys are raised. It's
Of
bizarre.
course, of course. And we know that the only alpha male that ever, the biggest, was King Kong. And what happened to him?
Yeah.
When on top of the building, tried to show himself strong, beat his chest, and he fell to his death. So we don't want that to happen.
No, no, stay off
We
the
don't want
buildings.
that to happen. I want you to share with my audience, because today, men, I give place to men, and this is my day that I share with the men on Thursdays. Thursday is Men's Day, and because I usually always talk to women or talk about women, but I know that it's important to talk with men about things that are important to them. What was important to you at that very time when you were angry, right? What was important to you? I know it was safety, and I know it was, being safe, but what was really important? What was the root cause of all of that to be happening?
Oh man. What and it's I think it's what underlies everything is this feeling of I'm not enough,
Yeah.
right? So, everybody gets this as they grow up,
Yeah.
mother, father, teacher, preacher. You get these different messages from people,
Right.
and they may be very well intentioned, but
Right.
a lot of times it translates into their way is better than your way. Oh,
Right.
I have to listen to them. I must not be
Right.
enough.
Right.
Right. So some people deal better with this than others. I did not. And so all
Mhm.
this stuff built up. I must have had, 7,000 identities that weren't mine by the time I got to the time when my brother died. And it was this like, whoa, oh, that's not mine. That's not mine. It was amazing. But I think that's at the root of most of our stuff. If we truly knew we were enough, I wouldn't give a flying whatever what this
Right.
guy over here thinks about me,
Exactly.
right? But these days, one glance and it's on, man. So,
Right.
what? He looked at you. So what?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I think I had that when I went to China. I moved to China to teach English, and they stare. Not that they stare. They look at things that they are not really used to. So here I am, an American black, and I have this, like, shiny skin. I'm sweating because it's 110 degrees. Okay. I'm shiny, and I'm walking around with my other, Chinese friends, and I'm walking around, and they're just staring. So, like, I'm from New York. You don't stare at me. I'm getting the tough woman syndrome on. You don't stare at me. So I was like, I'm looking at him, and he's looking at me, and now he's got a blank face. Like, I'm intimidated because he's staring at me, but he's just looking. And so I'm taking it like, because I'm from New York, I'm the tough guy, What is he looking at? I'm telling my friends. So they're like, oh, he's looking at you. And it's like a matter of factly, they're saying it like matter of factly, he's looking at you.
Mhm.
And I'm like, oh, but we don't get stared down in New York. Um, my friend turns to me, we don't see you often. So we have to look and take it in. And it was like, whoa, here I am putting on this persona that wasn't even necessary, right? And that's what you're saying. The persona wasn't even necessary because I'm sure in your personality itself, you probably were a great guy. You still are, by the way. But you probably were a great guy, but you wanted to find that safety. Men's health is important, right?
Mhm.
And it's really neglected. um when did you when you found out you were angry, what was the first thing you did? I know you talked to yourself. Did you seek any mental health, like, outside? Did you seek anything like that?
Immediately, no, no,
Okay.
because it was really hard for me to accept.
Right. Say that. That's
That
important. That's really
yeah, it's
important.
really hard to accept. all these years, 'cause I'm 53 now, so I was 49 then, that I didn't like myself. I mean,
Right.
how do you say that to?
Mm-hmm.
That's really hard, right? I didn't have a love interest in my life. I wasn't that close to my folks. And my hero, my brother that I could tell anything to was gone. I'm like, well,
Right.
who do I share this with?
Right.
So initially it was I started noticing things that my dog was trying to get me to do. And I'm like, what? I'm like, oh no, what? Wait a minute. So
Right.
that's where a lot of this came from. And I was like this as a kid. I was like totally intuitive with animals.
Right.
But I lost that as I got older. And then I got woken up to it again. So I had this beautiful animal that was showing me how to be, you know, soften yourself a little bit. You can be gentle and still be strong, right? You don't have to do this.
Mhm.
And so that was
Right.
fascinating. And I was like, oh my God, there's something here. So I just
Mhm.
started searching. I started searching
Right.
like crazy.
Right. And that's important to search because, you said something really, really important, acknowledging that you were like, this is not me. Where is this coming from? Like you started acknowledging all of that. And that's important. Um, when did you find out? You said you're 53?
Hmm.
Okay. So the dog, which is an animal, and we buy a lot of those. We get involved in, like, I mean, 2020 kind of showed us how many people started getting animals.
Hmm.
Start self-soothing, right?
Yep.
So was it then that you kind of start, let me start researching when you got the dog or before you got the dog? Or you had the dog all along. Explain when the dog kind of took place, like how long you had the animal and things like that.
Okay. So this dog we're talking about, his name is Darby. He passed away
Darby.
earlier this year,
Okay.
but he was there then.
Okay.
So about a week after my brother passed, my mom came down for a visit, and she came in, and we're both still like, nobody wants to bring it up, but we're both like all sad, and she's just sitting there crying, and I was really uncomfortable. And um, this little pit bull mix
Mm-hmm.
walks over to my mom real slow, climbs up on the couch, climbs up and leans in against her and puts his head under her chin. And then he just gave her this
Oh,
huge, I'm like, oh my God, I just got shown up by my dog. All mom needed was a hug, right? But I couldn't see that.
right.
And I'm like, oh my God, these animals are freaking powerful.
Yeah.
Here, it's such a simple thing. All she needed was a damn hug, and I couldn't see
Yeah.
it, right? Because I was
Right.
I was stuck in my own stuff.
Yeah, no, you are.
And I was like, oh, that's amazing. That was freaking amazing. And that really
Mhm.
opened me like, oh my God, there's so much more under that. There's so much
Right,
more here. So
right. And that was your dog Darby was your hero. Started to
yeah.
unravel all that stuff.
Yep.
And that's how they become so close to us. Um the animals become so close to us. I had many pets during my when I'm younger. One of my animals that I really loved, truly loved, it was my own. Um was killed, and I couldn't bring myself to kind of deal with it. So in 2020, I bought a pet because I was home.
Right.
And right now, I have a little Yorkshire
Oh,
Terrier.
terrier. Yeah.
Mhm. And he's about 4 pounds, 4 or 5 pounds. He's about 4 or 5 pounds, and he follows me everywhere. But he teaches me a whole lot. When I'm sitting in my chair for work, he notices. When I'm sitting there, everything's quiet. So he goes and get on the couch. He doesn't bother me. When I get up and it's lunchtime, we play. He's got my schedule so down pat. So they're very intuitive.
Mhm.
And what you're telling me is that we're more spiritual than we want to believe. Is that right?
Abso-freaking-lutely. Are you kidding me? We come in with all these other awarenesses,
Hmm.
and think about kids. Like, think of imaginary friends,
Right.
right? Their parents shut their kid. Oh no, that's not right. That's not real. We do that all the time. Not
Yeah.
not to be mean, but it doesn't make sense to us, so that can't
Right.
be correct. So we shut down people's intuitiveness, their intuition, and their creativity. You
Mm-hmm.
know, at a young age, we start adulting,
Right.
and it's like, no, let a kid be a kid. They're fun. That's
Yeah.
another thing. We forget to have fun. We
Exactly.
get so tied up in, mortgage and car payment and our
Mm-hmm.
job. And I want to get a promotion and a title and like all this
Yeah.
stuff that we're chasing. And then everything we really need is right here.
Absolutely.
It's like, ah,
It's true. It's so very true that we get absorbed, into this thing that I think we call it life, but it's really not.
yeah.
And one of my favorite sayings, don't forget to have fun. Listen, I told my mom when I was like 6, and she was asking me, because I asked her, Mom, where you going? She goes, I'm going to work. I said, word, it was a foreign word to me. I'm 6. Word. So yeah, the thing that pays the bills for you to stay here. I said, okay. And what do you get? And she said, more money. And I said, oh. So, and so she came, she kissed me, and then she was going down the stairs. She goes, by the way, you ever thought about what you want to be? I looked at her. My mother tells me the story all the time because I remember it verbatim. I want to have fun. I don't want what you doing. I don't want to do that. She's like, you gotta pay for things, and I don't understand this girl. I just don't understand her. But she says that still to this day. My mom is 81. Will be 81 this year, and she always says, "You always said you wanted to have fun. No matter what you did, you wanted to have fun." And a couple of jobs I always had. I worked for one of the major computer agencies out here, and I was a paralegal there. I hated it. Everything was like this, and I was like, "Oh God, no! I can't work here," because I'm like the one that's crazy, And I quit, and it was great money at the time. I was making. I was like, "Oh no, I just couldn't do it." And every job since then, I had so much fun, had great times. But to have fun is part of our imagination, our creativity. Now, I'm inching up to it now because you have a book, so I'm inching up to it now. So, with your new pup, now what's that pup's name? What's that
Oh,
like? What's his
oh,
name?
her name is
There's
Indigo.
Indigo, right? I forgot. That's right, because I love
Oh
that
man.
name.
Yeah,
Indigo.
and she's
Tell
a
Indigo, so
pistol.
sorry, so sorry. Um, tell Indigo, forgive me for that. Her name is
She was
Indigo.
about to flip you off. I told her to
Yeah.
stop.
Don't let her flip me off. Okay, so tell me how creative you got with learning through her to write this book. Because I'm not going to say the words now, but to get creative, you had to start getting creative with her prior to this, I'm sure.
Well, I think our timeline's a little off. I finished the book just before she came into my life.
Oh, so it was about the prior dog.
It was Darby.
Darby. It was about
Yeah,
Darby. Okay, so I'm giving you more credit than you deserve, Indigo. Sorry.
that's
Sorry.
no, don't worry. She's taxing the hell out of me now. She is. She's so freaking. She keeps outsmarting my ass. She's incredible. She's killing me. So
Oh my goodness.
oh
I got
yeah.
that all wrong. Like I apologize. I really don't. Really do. I got that wrong. Okay, so Darby, did you take
Darby,
a lot
the
of
the wonder
lessons?
dog.
Yeah, the wonder dog. Yes.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah, God, he taught me so much. He could make me feel safe and secure when I needed it.
Wow.
And then he also taught me, he was like my Zen master. He taught me all this stuff about cooling my you know what out. And God, he loved like going to the river. So
Right.
we could go to the river and just sit on a rock and stare. So it was, all these turned into meditations,
Right.
incredible walks. And God, we explored and we got out away from everybody and spent quiet time. And I started to allow myself to relax more. It's like my nervous system was buzzing less and less
Right.
and
Right.
less and
Right.
less. It was fascinating. And he would just be so gentle and sweet. And if I needed to laugh, he'd fire it up, and he was funny as hell. He was nuts. Um, yeah, he was great. He was great. He would tell me that I need to go outside, right? So he'd go to the sliding glass door and
Right.
stand there, and I'm like, oh, okay. I'd get up, from the desk, work and whatever. I'd open the door, and he'd just stand there, and
Hmm.
he'd look up at me, and you know, finally I was like, oh, I need to go outside. So I go
Yeah.
outside and we'd play.
Right. Right.
So he taught me all kinds of stuff like this. um I could just sit in the sun with my eyes closed and smell the breeze. He taught me to track an incoming storm that you couldn't even see over the mountains yet. um just all these things are fantastic, and he got me so in tune with nature like I'd never been before in my life.
Right. Right. Okay. So that leads us to the book now because I done botched it up. I had indigo in there.
That's
So
okay.
now we're going to go to, let's talk about your book. And now we know where the inspiration came from.
Mm.
Let's talk about your book and your inclinations to it and what brought you to that point. This is what the world needs.
Yeah, oh god, I needed it. That was the biggest thing.
Okay.
So at first I knew I was going to write a book. I had an intuitive friend.
Mhm.
She's telling me, "Oh, you're writing a book." I'm like, "Okay, I'll just write a book." And I was writing this other thing, and it wasn't me. I'm not much of a writer, but I was trying to follow this other style and format and do it these professional blah blah blah.
Right, right, right.
And I was like, I don't. This sucks. I don't like this. So, um, I knew this lady who's a transformational author coach. I followed some of her
Mhm.
stuff. I'm like, I'm writing the wrong book.
Right.
So I was like, okay, what am I going to do? Because I had pre-purchased a publishing package,
Okay.
and I'm like, I got to get this damn thing in. So
Right.
I was sitting there, and
The
I just
deadline.
I looked over, and I had these thick leather bound journals that I've been writing stuff in since after my brother died.
Right.
All the stuff I'd been willing to go through and heal myself around or get help with.
Mhm.
And I was like, holy crap, my book's right there. So yeah, so I started pulling out just little selected things, and the book is short, and it's supposed to be.
Right. Yeah.
It's not a novel.
Mhm.
It's these tiny little chapters, how to get you to think a different way and
Right.
realize that you can remember who you actually are and live this exceptional life.
Great. So tell me what the best part, what in your book, what's the best chapter? And share with us why it's so important to you.
Oh, the introduction.
Okay.
The introduction is it's a just a few pages,
Okay.
and it is my experience when I realized something was wrong with Darby, and I took him to the vet,
Okay.
and when I found out he was really really sick and wasn't going to live real long, and I had this other grieving process, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah, yeah. For me,
Definitely.
it's a total tearjerker. Um,
Oh,
it's powerful. It's powerful because I'm losing my best friend.
right.
So that's how the book starts. Yeah, cheery.
Yeah. And
But
losing your best friend again. Again.
yeah,
Yeah. So you're losing your best friend again.
yeah.
And through that, and I'd like to go into that, the grieving process of a man. That's
Mm.
important. Um, what did you first feel? Besides, what did you first really feel? I know the anger came as a symptom of it, but what did you first feel?
Alone and
Oh,
scared shit. You know, the
yeah.
the people, and I consider Darby a person. He was a much better man than most people I know.
Right.
Um, someone that was there and just accepted me no matter what. That's
Hmm.
what my brother was.
Right.
I didn't have that anywhere else in my life that I knew.
Right.
Um, they weren't trying to change me. They just accepted me who I was, loved me as I was, and that was it. And that's it's a simple thing, but it's the most powerful thing we have on this planet.
Oh, of course.
because we can't accept ourselves. We can't love ourselves. We can eventually, but we just don't. We're not taught how to. We're
Right.
actually taught the opposite.
Right.
So for me, it was this incredible sense of loss. Like, the one I could count on is
Yeah.
gone again.
Right.
How do I how do I get past this? So it was really amazing because people say, oh, just go get another dog and you won't have to worry about the feelings. I'm like,
Oh,
no, I
no.
said, I want this. I want all of this. I want to feel every little bit of it. He deserves it. I deserve it. So we're going to let whatever comes come. Um, yeah. And the guy I was working for at the time, I said, I'm taking time off. He's like, okay. Um, yeah. So that was a huge gift to me also. So I got to
That
spend these
totally was a gift.
incredible days. I planned these incredible days for Darb for his long-term going away party. I mean, we had a barbecue for him. We went into the mountains and we hung out in the river again. And yeah, it was kind of magical, right?
Right.
So
And it taught you a whole lot about the grieving process, and gave you an opportunity to grieve your brother through Darby. And
yeah,
that's pretty special.
yeah.
Um,
Well, it was an allowing, right?
right,
We don't
right,
allow ourselves to go places,
right,
here. We don't
right,
allow our things to experience or express. Guys are terrible at expressing things.
right.
We don't allow ourselves to be in this other place. We think we have to put on this mask of toughness and prove to everybody else how badass we are. And everybody knows you're not.
Yeah. They do know. They do know. We don't know, but they do know. People know. Now, for you said, and I'm glad you said that about men. Um, and it's important to know, talk about men and expressing their feelings. Um, were you given like a prompt from, your sphere of influence? You know, not men are not supposed to cry. And how do you relay that now, that what you learned? How do you relay that to expression?
Yeah. Well, I was raised, don't get hurt. Don't let them
Right.
see you hurt. Don't cry. All this tough guy macho bullshit. Um,
Yes.
well, but
It's it.
here's the thing. If you're not willing to try and do something different, that's exactly what you're going to teach your kid, right?
Right.
So, and not shaming, not blaming, that's what I learned because that's what my dad had learned.
Right. Right.
So, that's just what you did.
Right.
I don't know why people aren't questioning this, but yeah, anyway, it's a load of crap. It's a complete load of crap.
Right.
Am I less of a man because I share some vulnerability? Hell no, I'm more of a man.
Right.
Am I less of a man because I cry? Things make me cry? Hell no. I'm a hell of a lot happier than most of you guys out there because I can get rid of that crap.
Say that.
So yeah, it's such a little thing, guys, but it's such a big deal to us. We're so afraid for anyone to see us in other than this I'm perfect macho state.
Yeah. And I think that's how all of the anger starts yet again, because we're not really living our true selves. And then we've clung to certain agreements, like you said. Um, I'm strong, can't cry. I was told that. Like you said, no, that's what I was taught. It's generational. That's what he was taught. So he's teaching you only the way that he knows. And we've heard that. I talk about the um, the strong Black woman. That word alone, clinging to that, stops us from like displaying our vulnerability, displaying crying, and then we get this persona with the bi. I'm not going to say the rest, but we get that. Oh, that's a persona, or the inclination we get from everyone around us, because we start to display some of the behaviors or symptoms of anger and all of that. We start displaying it.
Yeah.
Like saying with men, you start displaying all of that, and it's really the fear of what you agreed to years ago. And I like how you kind of taken that and learned from an animal that you truly fell in love with and was your confidant throughout this, and they really and Darby really taught you. You didn't teach him anything, he taught you. And I like how you transformed all of everything, all the teachings into your life, and made it simple and easy to integrate it and then send it out again. I like how you did that.
Thank you.
Um, you're welcome. So tell me what made you want to write a book. That's what I want to ask you. What made you? What said to you, you got to write this? Not your friend. I know, because you could said, nah.
Yeah, no, she told me, and I freaked out about it. No, I had to make the decision, right? So
Right.
for me, it was really odd. I'm like, who am I to do this, right? And total imposter
Right.
syndrome. I'm no blah 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 blah. I didn't finish college, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
Who am I to write a
Going
book?
through all this stuff. Yeah.
So, yeah, fascinating. I realized, no, even if I write this thing and I sell one copy and it helps that one person, that's what it's about. That's it.
That's right.
That's it. So if I help one person, then I'm
Absolutely.
stoked.
Absolutely. I say that all the time, you know, and I was in a different predicament because I'm a survivor of childhood sexual abuse. So I had written 10 books, 10 from, from cover to cover, never put them out because I was so strong with the S in my chest meant shameful and secretive. So I was so like that. And I got tired of being tired, and people that I was around, I didn't realize that they were going through the same thing. And I'm like, what is going on with me? And I had to figure out, like you said, it was a decision. Put it out there. Yes, I got flack for like 2 years, family, arguing, the whole thing. And but I had to, it freed me to be myself, my authentic self, my real self, the one that had the creativity, the chutzpah, to talk back and voice my opinion and care less who you are, that kind of thing. It gave you
Yeah.
didn't it give you the chutzpah? Like, it's like, I could say what I want to say now. It's out there.
Yep.
It's
Oh
out into
yeah.
the world.
Oh yeah. Well, no, it's hard. One of the things that was hard for me is I shared some stuff, and I even, that made my mom really uncomfortable. And it wasn't to
Right,
for anybody to think that she's a bad
right,
person or whatever, but
right,
she has this total tight identity of being mom, super mom.
right,
And when she read it, she got super uncomfortable, and like, we got into it a couple of times,
right. Yeah,
not
it
fighting, but
happened. Yeah.
I'm like, that was my experience. And
Right,
she felt crummy that because she didn't know how I felt back then.
right,
Well, I'm a guy, I can't express it anyway. So,
right, right.
but yeah, so that was super uncomfortable because I grew up with, here's another message that my dad gave me is, don't ever hurt your mom. Make sure she's always happy, that kind
Wow,
of stuff.
wow, wow.
So
Yeah,
just the thought that I would make her uncomfortable or upset
made
was
you uncomfortable. Yeah.
yeah, that was gut wrenching. I didn't know I couldn't remember where some of that came from. Like, what is going on? She'd be upset, and I would feel like, I just done the dumbest thing on the planet.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a true example. And we've been talking about this all the way through, of the things that we agree to and we cling to, and we forget about it. Like, it's not like in the forefront of our minds, like walking. We forget about it, and then when things start cropping up, you're asking yourself, why the heck am I feeling like this?
Yeah.
I didn't do anything wrong. You're beating yourself up more than the other person is really beating you up, because you're having a conversation with them, but you're actually beating yourself up double time, and you can't. And it's, oh, now I know. I agreed
Yeah.
not to ever hurt mom.
Yeah.
Here I go again, and it's almost like the band-aids ripped off again. Now I have to start healing that part again. It's like all these things that, like, the bandages are all over us. We're band-aid like a mummy. We got band-aids everywhere.
Yep.
And when things start happening, you start ripping things off and like, oh my God, here's another thing. And it's important to know that it doesn't happen overnight. And I want you to talk about that. It didn't happen overnight. Talk about how it happened for you, and it takes the process. Just talk about that.
Oh, yeah. It's not going to happen fast, and
Yeah.
I mean, let's look at it this way. I'm 53. It took
Right.
me 49 years before something went, and I was woken up, right? So I have all these years of patterning and
Yeah.
self-esteem issues, self-shaming, and you
Yeah.
know, all the anger and rage. There's rage in there, right? It's not just, I'm pissed at the guy who cut me off.
Right.
It's like I want to
So
rip him out of the car and throat punch him and smash his
yeah.
head through the window.
It's total
So
rage.
it's like, what, I'm like, where's that coming from? Well, it's all this stuff. I just keep stuffing it down,
Yeah.
and then we
Yeah.
start to resent that, but we don't think about it. So I'm in a much better place.
Yeah.
So it's like I said, it's been 2017. Yeah, it's been almost 5 years, but there's still stuff that comes up.
Oh yeah.
There's still stuff that comes up, and
Absolutely.
it probably will be maybe as long as I live. I don't know,
Yeah.
but I have a different way of approaching it now,
Right. You
and
have different.
I don't beat myself up as much.
Right.
Um, and I'm just happier in general. I don't have
Hmm.
all this icky, sticky crap, oozing all over the place. I'm like, oh, ew, yeah, yeah, okay, well, okay.
Yeah.
I know what to do about that.
Yeah.
Or I got to sit with that for a little bit, but I don't have to be so reactive and grumpy and shitty.
Right. Exactly. You made so many great points, and I like the fact that mental health for men, and you and let's I want to that's what I want to talk about
Hmm.
is um you took this in control yourself, and I like that. And it's a possibility in certain situations. Not all situations can you take on yourself without therapy, but you acknowledged it and you
Hmm.
allowed yourself to kind of let me get this together.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
yeah. But I didn't do all this by myself.
okay,
So I started the journey realizing I wanted to change.
right,
I didn't know how to do that.
okay,
So I started looking and reading and just studying the animals again and realized that there's more. Well, if there's more there's got to be more over here.
right,
So I had other folks that helped me,
right,
but I had to get to a place where I was willing to ask for that help.
right. That's
That
it. That's
that's
it.
an that's an ego buster right there.
Right.
That was like, oh shit, because
Yeah.
we're not.
That's
I
right.
mean, there's this long running
That's right.
joke since we've had vehicles that guys don't ask for directions. It's it's stupid, but it's partially true, right?
It's a
Um,
whole lot true.
oh my God. So we can't be seen as not being all knowing or all
Right.
powerful, whatever. Oh my God, how terrible. But I had to get to that place where I was like, God, I need help. I need some help.
Right.
I don't know what I'm doing, or I don't know where to go from here.
Hmm.
So yeah, I've had therapy. I've had coaches.
Hmm.
Um, a coach has to have a coach, right? That's how
Right.
it goes. Um, so yeah, a lot of folks
Well,
have helped
well,
me.
I will tell you, say that again because some of my clients don't believe that coaches have to have coaches, and I have a coach,
Yeah.
and listen, therapists have therapists because you could only shoulder but so much responsibility, and you have to go see someone to unload it on them, and that their therapists have therapists. You know what I'm saying? So it's everyone needs
Exactly.
help, and it's important because in the Black women's community, we don't ask for help. In the men's community, Black or white, indifferent, um, they don't ask for help. It's important to acknowledge you got something going on and then seek the help and allow the help to happen. Because you can
Yes.
seek it, but you don't necessarily have to allow someone to help you,
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
And that's great. So tell me what you do. Tell Mike, not me, but tell the audience what you do, how you can help them, and tell them where they can find your book and how to connect with you.
Okay. Well, the book looks like this.
Yes. Let your dog lead.
Yep. And there's a picture of me and Darby on the back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The super dog.
Who's photo bombing who?
Yeah. Yeah. He let me be in the picture this time. Yeah. I had to hide the keys from him all the time. Damn dog would run to the store without me.
Totally photo bombing. It's over. Just totally.
He's like, hey, move out. You're in my way.
It's cute.
So the book's available on Amazon and Barnes and Noble and that kind of stuff. And my website is www.dogsandmen.com. So I chose to go work with men because, like I said early on, we need more help. We're not willing to go there most times. So I wanted to create this safe space for guys that then go, huh? I wonder if I can actually talk to this guy. So so it's a simple website. I've got a course on there. I've got coaching. There's another course coming. I'm actually doing a course that follows the book.
Okay.
And then I'm also doing something very interesting that is I've just kind of been working on since you and I talked last.
Ooh,
I'm
tell
I'm
us.
hosting a summit.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
tell us about it.
Oh
Tell us
yeah.
where.
So it's going to be March 18th and 19th.
Okay.
And I've got all my speakers lined up. I've got some freaking cool people coming. And it's around trauma. So
Okay.
the summit is called Everybody Hurts.
Ah,
And
good.
and trauma, dogs, and healing. So we got some fascinating people.
Now,
Um,
this is in person or online?
oh
How?
yeah, no, it'll be online. Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
great.
not willing to, punch the COVID card right now. So um yeah, we'll just do that online for a couple days. And yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool. And
Great.
it'll be free. And I'll get all this. I don't even have a page up on my website yet for it,
Okay.
but we'll get that up here soon.
Well, we're going to put your information on. So if anyone in the audience wants to really be involved in this summit, they'll reach out to you and ask about the summit from your website, right?
Yeah. Well, and
Have that on,
yeah, if
we'll
anybody's
have
got a question, they can email me directly. It's michael@dogsandmen.com.
Okay, we'll
Yeah,
have
feel
that.
free.
We'll have everything on there.
Yeah.
And men, get out of your own way and run over here to Michael Overlie's place and get coaching and talk about what is going on with you. Okay? Don't play around. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Is
And
there any parting words that you could share with us before we go? Because this show has been really amazing.
um yeah, everybody just give yourself a little freaking break right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's enough, man. We set too many expectations and we try and meet everybody else's. Give yourself just a little bit of breathing room,
Yeah.
just a little bit, and see how that feels. Because
Yeah.
there's if you can do that, you can do more, and there's some great life to live.
Right. Amen to that. I agree with that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard this, and this is a really great show for me. I'm wiser for it. I know now. I know Indigo's name, and sorry, Indigo. And I've learned so much, and I thank you for taking the time because Thursday is Men's Day around here, and I hope to see you and connect with you after this, way after this. Maybe we'll do something together.
I would
Maybe.
love that. Oh my God, that'd
Maybe
be great.
do something together. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for sharing your time with us. If you have any comments, please look in the section where there is a call to action because you're going to have all the information about Michael and you're going to have all the information about us. But I want you to be at that summit, especially you men. Fill the room with all that there is of men. So my audience, share this information so we can so Mike can feel his old summit from New York. Okay, from New York. Thank you so much, Michael, for being here with me. And we're signing off. Bye for now,
Thank you,
audience.
Edna. You're beautiful. Love you.
All right.